What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. Yesterday, I took an L. I had the Liberty minus 5.5. Bet it early. Got some injury news I didn't like. It is what it is. They lost outright. Um, still, still been doing pretty well. That's a bump in the road for me. Veno, good to be back with you. Hopefully, yesterday for you was better than what it was for me.
Well, it couldn't be worse, Skee, because I didn't play. So 0-0 yesterday. The $5 play yesterday was a play set up for tonight. So those who got in yesterday are on board with what we have working here this evening, but just didn't have enough faith in anything on the board yesterday. So I've been telling all you guys in the chat my track record hasn't been great. So best to take a day off. I've had enough experience doing this to learn that maybe you take a pause for a second and come back.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the reset. That's sometimes what you need. And we have three games here today to choose from to talk about. So let's see if we can find some money. Had the wrong banner there at the bottom. There we go. Got ours up there. See if we can find some money. First game up is Valkyries and Tempo. Opened up minus 7.5. Looks like eight, mostly eight, some 8.5 out there. Total opened 169.5. And that's come all the way down as low as 165.5. Um, should probably look at some of these injuries, and I need to actually refresh it because it's been up a little bit since I've refreshed it. So for Golden State, I don't see anybody on there. For Toronto, still no Sykes, no Rice, and no Back Bentley. I I mean, this Toronto team has been pretty straightforward to me. They don't play defense. They maybe play a little bit better defense at home, maybe, but they don't play defense in general. And you know, the offense, or they haven't been doing enough since Brittany Sykes went down, really. So I just don't really like anything about this Tempo team. I think the Valkyries should be able to score on them. Will the Valkyries defense play well enough to hold the tempo down to, not be able to contribute to this total? Ravino, how are you looking at this game?
Well, it's interesting. Toronto's been over this particular total, I think, 8 of their last 9. And you mentioned the reasons why. They don't play any defense. They do score. But the problem with scoring against Golden State is that your real only option at this point is Marina Mabry, and Golden State has wings that can defend Mabry. And she goes crazy against teams that can't cover her. But there's been a couple of instances where teams had defenders that could match up with her, and it just doesn't go her way. Now, they played a poor game on Sunday, I think it was, Skee, or whatever their last game was. Toronto was pretty poor offensively. Um, but the list of injuries was huge. And Julie Alamon was in that list. And when you lose another guard, so that made it 3 guards, it becomes really tough for Mabry. So I can almost excuse that because Alamon's back in the lineup tonight. Maybe they get a little more offense here. Golden State's in the third road game in 5 days, I think. So maybe the defense lets up a little bit. They shouldn't have any problems scoring. They shouldn't have any problems shooting their threes. I'm almost tempted to play this game over the total at this point because you don't get a lot of Toronto games in this range. But then again, trying to get to 166 or 167 in a Golden State game sometimes is like pulling teeth. That game the other night against Washington, 62-49, was like watching a game from the Stone Age. So maybe you get a little bit different result here tonight because Toronto's a different opponent than Washington, but I just don't know. Like I say, something in me says this price tag, you just have to play Toronto over because of their shortcomings on D, and they can score, and Golden State should be able to score. But, you can definitely counter that by saying, hey, Rob, Golden State's just too good defensively. Toronto's not going to do anything against them. So may have to let this one go. The price just seems high too, Skee. Really quick, I know you mentioned the other day that Golden State's getting a lot of respect in the point spread at this point in time because of the run that they're on. They did cover the other night against Washington, but I'll say again, they're laying 7.5, 8 here. And even with me climbing them in the power ratings, I only make them 4.5 in this game. So, there is something baked in here to the Golden State side for sure.
Wonder what it could be. Wonder what it could be. Yeah, I personally don't trust the tempo. That's just what it is for me. I feel like, the phrase I say all the time is, "I've seen enough. I don't need to see any more until Brittany Sykes or they get some players back into the lineup. I've seen enough." Our next game up, we'll go Lynx and Sun. This one, and I should have the opener. That is my mistake. My bad. I'm a little short-handed today. Opened up -7.5. Looks like 6.5. Total came down a point also to 166.5. As far as the injury report, you have Olivia Miles still game time decision, and I want to say that was more like, yeah, she's doubtful for tonight. For Connecticut, Anissa Morrow out. Um, yeah, these teams just played the other day in Minnesota, right? And no Olivia Miles, no W for the Lynx. Connecticut got the outright win as a pretty solid big underdog. Now running it back at a different venue, still looks like it's going to be no Olivia Miles. I mean, the opener on this game, was 10.5. It's down to 6.5 already. Is that enough to get in with the Lynx? I would say if you like the Lynx, you probably even waited even more because it doesn't look like she's going to play. If she's rolled out, you're going to get an even lower number than 6.5. Any thoughts on what I've said so far?
Well, I think there's been a couple of shifts in what Connecticut's trying to do now. I think they, evaluated, experimented with all their parts and what they've gone to and what they went to the other day, which I know you pointed this out in the Minnesota game against the Liberty, because that night I had said that Minnesota could suffocate the perimeter, but then you kind of countered with saying, well, what's Minnesota going to do against the New York front court? And it's what happened the other night. Connecticut's gone Twin Towers. Um, Nelson Adota and Brittany Griner together on the floor. And Griner went crazy the other night, 29 points. Minnesota just didn't have enough front court help. It's you look back and you see Jessica Shepard and Alana Smith on Dallas now, and you say, man, it'd be really nice to have them right about now. But they did get Dorka back the other night. First game back, but another big. And I always have faith that Cheryl Reeve will find a way to make some adjustments. So I don't know that Connecticut's bigs go crazy here. And they really can't shoot from the outside. So you almost force them to beat you from the perimeter. And if Minnesota comes with the right game plan and the right attitude, even without Miles, I think they could win here. The problem gets to be Connecticut's become a covering machine. They play really well first half. So does Minnesota. Minnesota's a good first quarter, first half team. Hasn't been that way the last couple of games, but they still have been that way overall. And it depends what kind of emphasis you put on Olivia Miles here, Skee, because like you say, the price tag has come down so far now that it's somewhat tempting to jump in with still the superior talented team against a team that just beat them 2 nights ago. And, when you're a 14-point favorite or whatever they were, and you get beat by them on your home floor, to me, with a team like the Lynx, that sticks. So for me, it would be Lynx or nothing here.
I know, regardless of who's available, Coach Reeve will have them ready to go with the game plan. And just thinking back, I heard her talking. She said, "I'm not going to give the schemes away and everything away, but the players know they didn't execute the game plan. They didn't do what we were supposed to do. I think she'll have them ready to do what they're supposed to do. Here tonight." Last game, my bad. Fever and Sparks. 6.5, I believe, was the opener, and still 6.5 total though. Did come down a little bit. Let's see here. Open 184.5. I'm seeing it as low as 182.5 out there. Let's look at the injury report. We do still have Aaliyah Boston, game time decision. She's iffy for tonight. Caitlin Clark is probable. For the Sparks, no Plum, no Cameron Brink. I mean, No Plum, no Brink, no me. I couldn't push the button on the Storm last game just because of the luck that I've had with the Storm lately. I was regretting it, but the Sparks have just been terrible without Kelsey Plum on the floor. That's just it is what it is. Um, if Philea Boston is out, obviously that does help them. Maybe they could, have some more success inside, but it's just not enough shot creation, not enough good outside shooting for the Sparks. It's hard for me to trust them. I honestly think that this game could be an under game. I just don't like the thought of, you know, I know the fact that they play better defense when Caitlin Clark doesn't play, and I'm expecting her to play tonight. And Aaliyah Boston being the iffy one could leave the paint open for opportunities. That's the only thing holding me up. But I was thinking about under in this game. That's probably the closest I can get to betting it. What do you think, Vino?
Well, they played June 27th, so that's about 11 days ago. Indiana destroyed them in Indiana by 24 points. Kind of the same personnel. Kelsey Plum wasn't there. Cameron Brink wasn't there. Caitlin Clark wasn't there. Ty Harris started at point, and they scored 111 against the LA Sparks. LA offensively looked like a disaster the other night against Seattle. Skee. There's just no, aside from NECA, there's just no options on this team. I mean, Ray Burrell at points in time can score. They obviously have Wheeler and Atkins, and at points in time they can score, but they just don't look like they play well together. I'll say this. The other night, they shot 33% from the floor. They only made 22 buckets the entire game. 4 of the 5 starters shot 38% or worse. They had severe turnover and offensive rebounding issues in that game. They got crushed with turnovers. Without Kelsey Plum out there, like you say, the ball handling is kind of a mess. And offensive rebounding, Indiana happens to be the number 1 team in the league offensive rebounding. So for Seattle the other night, just to point this out, the Sparks missed 41 shots. So there were 41 defensive rebounds available. Seattle got 37 of them. It's just hard in this case for me. Even, if Boston doesn't play, it probably doesn't, the percentage isn't probably that high, but still Indiana should be okay on the boards. They certainly have far more scoring options. My theory, and I said this to you off air, is that since Indiana plays back-to-backs, there's probably going to be some combination here. Maybe Caitlin Clark plays tonight and doesn't play tomorrow. Aaliyah Boston doesn't play tonight but does play tomorrow. But I think they'll probably switch those two up. Regardless, like I say, same game took place not too long ago, and it was a 24-point rout. Just too many weapons on the Indiana side and not enough scoring weapons on the LA side. It just looked like a complete, I don't know how to describe it without using, the language that your OG crew uses on their show. I'm going to keep it clean. I'm going to keep it clean and just say it's been disastrous. So for me, it would be Indiana here, minus the points. And I'm with you at this price tag, 183.5. As far as total is concerned, it's almost as if the odds maker is giving credit to LA for being whole at this point. They're not even close to being the same offense from what we're seeing. So under could be a good look. It was way under against Seattle the other night.
Yeah, that's the way I'm thinking about this one. Um, all right, that is the card for today. So before we do get to best bets, we do a little bit of promo like we usually do. Let's see what we got here. The usual, three-day all access, 2 for 1. So you get both Rob Veno and myself. 3-day all access for only $69. But if you say Skee, that was some bullshit you did yesterday with the Liberty. I'm going with Rob Veno. Maybe you want to get the buy 3, get 3 free, 6 days for just $69. So a lot of different ways to get involved. And yeah, things have still been good despite yesterday's loss for me. 15, I think, and 4 is the current run. So, and I know Vino, you're on a good run too, despite having a bad day the other day. So, anything else you'd like to add, Vino? And promo wise, we feel free. And if you have a best bet for the show, we'd love to hear it. If you don't, it's all good.
I just real quick here was doing the addition for you, Ski, because my 17-4 fell to 17-10, but your 15-4 makes it 32-14, which despite the fact that I've dragged us down, it's still really good. And like I said yesterday, a bunch of yours have been 5%ers, which really helps the cause. So that combo package obviously worth it. For the 6 and 3 days, guys. I'm going to be involved in Summer League. Las Vegas Summer League starts tomorrow. Again, if you're interested in that, that'll be part of long-term packages. I don't really put those up as daily package plays, but they are included for folks who are on board already. All right, so let me say quickly that my $2 play or $5 play yesterday remains up there. It's just not $5 anymore because it's Wednesday. It's my only play today. Very hard to leave a best bet. You only have one game and it's up for sale. And, a bunch of people have already purchased it. Just not fair to go ahead and run it out there for free. So I'll pass, Ski, but I will say really quick, I'm close with the links. Just talking it out with you a little bit there kind of pushes me a little more toward Minnesota here tonight in that game against Connecticut. So audience, take it for what you will. I could end up on the links. You may see that play up on my page a little later.
Yeah, I would just echo what Vino said. I could add some more things throughout the day, but as of right now, all I have is one 5% play. I've cashed 7 in a row. Last 365 in the WNBA, I've cashed 11 of 14 5% plays. So I'm gonna go for 8 straight 5% winners tonight, and I can't give it out as a best bet on the show. Like Vino said, it's just not fair. So, um, Vino, always good. Always appreciate you talking the games out with me. Helps my process a great amount. Chat, we appreciate you all out there as well. Best of luck, everybody, on all your action, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.